Hello everyone. Today's case study is very simple. It's about the grassroots fundamentals, the basics of marketing. So if you're someone who wants to know what are the simplest elements of marketing mix to keep in mind before starting out a new business venture, this episode is for you. But that's not it. In our collective quest to learn about the different brands across the globe, I am going to give you an example of Tim Hortons, the Canadian multinational coffee house and restaurant chain which started in 1964, and how they utilized these basic steps that I am going to talk about to build a success strategy in recent times that not only resulted in billions of dollars in revenue and successfully helped them braving the pandemic, but also helped them take on their competitors, Starbucks and McDonald's, to become a globally recognized brand. So, let's get started. First things first, what are these fundamentals of marketing that I am talking about? The main four elements of marketing mix are product, price, place, and promotion. Say you want to start out a new business, then what are the fundamental questions that you need answers to? First is, what do you want to sell? Second, what are you going to charge for it? Third, where do you want to sell it? And finally, how are you going to sell it? Now let me remind you friends, these are quite basic questions you ask yourself when starting a brand. So this is not where your brand building ends, but this is where it begins. So if you think haphazardly, you are not going to end up anywhere, or you will probably feel that it is impossible to start out. But it's quite the opposite when you take these questions one at a time. That's all these elements of marketing mix are all about. Of course, now these four elements of marketing mix were introduced in 1960 by a marketing professor and author E. Jerome McCarthy, and therefore the context of these basic elements has changed with time, right? But how? To understand how these elements of marketing mix are relevant today, let's move on to how Tim Hortons utilized these elements in recent times to refurbish, to renew their brand strategy, differentiate themselves from the competition, reach out to the masses, and my favorite topic, promotions and advertising strategies used by them to do so. First things first, product. Now you would wonder, Tim Hortons has always been a coffee brand, so that's their product. It also sells some items that keep updating from time to time. There's nothing new to discuss here. Let's move on. Well, not really. We are living in an era of information, and therefore the definition of a product is not just restricted to the stuff you sell. It also includes the story of that product. The awareness of consumer has radically improved because information is available to them at the tap of a button. So an authentic story of the product is as important as the product itself, and therefore the story is also the product, right? If you've understood this, now let's revisit the topic. What is the product of Tim Hortons? It's the stuff they sell, that is a variety of coffee, donuts, food. But what is the story? Well, in recent news, Tim's has been accused of not ethically sourcing their products and further cutting down employment benefits. This took a toll on the reputation of this Canadian brand. But what is ethical sourcing of products? Well, it means that supply chain of a business, right from obtaining raw materials to the final product, is done in an ethical way, which includes paying the right amount of raw materials, good hygiene and working conditions of workers, zero child labor, focus on environmental protection, and basically following good business ethics. Unfortunately, Tim Hortons came into limelight when there were allegations of subpar wages for workers in Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, from where its coffee beans are sourced. Laborers working as long as 16 hours a day, and employment of child labor to these coffee farms. To tackle these challenges, Tim Hortons unveiled the Tim's for Good platform in 2019 to highlight their commitment towards people and communities, food and beverage quality, and the planet. This reassurance, combined by the usage of reusable and recyclable packaging, got them a good response. Furthermore, when the experimentation with a variety of menu led to dissatisfaction amongst loyal consumers, RBI, the parent company of Tim Hortons, refocused on maintaining its quality of coffee and breakfast. So that's how, by focusing on the product, that is what they sell, plus managing the product story, Tim Hortons has gradually paced towards a successful business growth. The second key element of marketing mix is price. With the pricing strategy, Tim Hortons has always aimed for the mass market. On one side, Starbucks provides a cappuccino priced anywhere between $5 to $8 in Canada. Tim Hortons sells a cup of cappuccino for as less as $3. Furthermore, its subsequent coffee and other beverages, donuts, bagels are all priced between $1 to $5, making it an extremely pocket-friendly food on the go option. The third key element of marketing mix is place. Now, just like product, place is a combination of offline or brick and mortar locations as well as the online presence of the brand, which is again something that your brand cannot live without. So first, let's talk about Tim Hortons' offline presence and how the brand has utilized the power of app locations to their advantage in Canada. The first and obvious choice is places with high footfalls for people to sit and enjoy their coffee and meals or grab it on the go. The second choice of locations is college campuses where a pocket-friendly cup of coffee is widely appreciated. While Starbucks only targets malls and more prime locations to reach out to the affluent customers, Tim Hortons enjoys a mass appeal, especially among students and youth. Combine that with a rapid growth in the last few years, Tim Hortons has strategically utilized location benefit to their advantage and opened more than 4,300 stores across Canada, which is more than double the number of Starbucks. Now let's combine this offline availability with online presence of the brand. Just like the biggest global chains, Tim Hortons has made a significant social media presence as well as made the experience of ordering online extremely efficient. The option of choosing your beverage or meal from a specific location enables a user to place the order from the closest Tims in their vicinity and have their order prepared by the time they reach the location. Furthermore, the employees are trained and instructed to prepare the orders in 30 seconds or less. Trust me, this is a big pro for a student rushing for their class to grab a quick, delicious coffee on the way. Thus, by complementing the online services with the strategic locations of their offline stores, Tim Hortons is the best BFF for its target audience. What? BFF already has the word best in it? Sorry, my bad. Lastly, let's talk about promotions and how Tim Hortons has revived its promotional strategy in the recent years to reflect with its user base. Unlike me, who uses the Gen Z abbreviations incorrectly, Tim Hortons has understood the likes of its target audience and come up with some great promotional ideas.
Tim Biebs.
It's perfect.
So let's discuss some of these strategies. First is increasing digital engagement. So Tim Hortons has a traditional roll up the rim to win competition where customers had to, like the name suggests, roll up the rim and see if they have won a prize. And this prize ranges from a free donut to a free car. To bank upon this promotional asset during the pandemic, Tim Hortons launched a version of the same contest online. This helped them generate a good social media engagement online as well as get customers accustomed to their availability on the app. Now coming to celebrity endorsements. Let's be honest, we know that it is always a costly affair that may or may not pay off. But Tim Hortons went out of their usual collaborations with professional hockey players and took a fresh approach by collaborating with the international singer Justin Bieber. What worked for the brand is that Justin Bieber was always a fan of Tim Hortons and therefore this collaboration was as organic a celebrity endorsement could get. The collaboration of Tim Biebs was widely appreciated and therefore the brand collaborated with Justin Bieber yet again only a few days ago and came up with a new range of coffees. This is how Tim Hortons leveraged the power of modern 4Ps of marketing to revive its brand, give it some much needed engagement, brave the pandemic and get back on track to open more outlets across the world. Before we end this video, I am going to suggest a TED Talk by Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, which highlights the idea that bad outcomes every once in a while are inconsequential if you really love what you do. And you can always change a few things and get back on top. That's all from my side, guys. If you really like this piece of content, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Also, stay tuned for more such insightful case studies. Goodbye.